Hey, good morning, everybody. Just time for some calisthenics here. I apologize for the late start time. We were just having a discussion about good coffee versus bad coffee, and I don't know, just having a little chat on Caltech and stuff. But anyway, it is time for us to get started. It is time for Caliber Corner episode number 244, season 5. As you guys noticed, I did not do a weekly Caliber Corner this week. I've done 17 of them basically in a row. And just taking some time off of the weekly episodes. This work has started back up again, and I'm busy. And if I have some time in the evenings and stuff, we'll fire up some Thursday sessions. But anyway, today, the discussion that we're having is on AR platform rifles that are not chambered in 5.56. I'm just going to keep it simple. We'll just say 5.56 or 308. I know you can say, well, it's 7.62 by 51 and 223 Remington. Okay, fine. But the idea here is we've got this multitude of calibers that are out there that a person can choose from. There's various uppers that are manufactured by different companies. We'll have a little chat about it. The idea from this stemmed from last week's discussion on the 243, where we looked up the 243 and found out that there are, in fact, AR platform rifles chambered in 243. They've been out for a while. And, we're kind of having a discussion on why would a person want to do this, or what's the idea behind it? What's the advantages and disadvantages? So I'm going to play devil's advocate today, and I'm not saying that I wouldn't buy a rifle not chambered in, 5.56 or 308, because I've got several that are not. But you also need to have some realistic expectations when you go into some of these chamberings of AR uppers, because you might run into some issues here and there, and I've had my share, and I definitely want to share that with you. And the second point I wanted to make about it is is there something inherently wrong about owning an AR that's not chambered in 5.56 or 308? And this also came from a massive text message, heated debate that we had between a bunch of us. Squibb was in on this one, and Defense Dad and Sandhills Media, on handguns. Should you have a gun that's originally chambered in 9 or 45? Should you have it chambered in other calibers? Is it wrong to do so? So anyway, that's kind of what's fueling the fire for today's discussion. But before we do that, before we get started and wake up everybody on this Saturday morning at 8 a.m. Central Time right here in God's country, Nebraska, we're going to let the panel introduce themselves. Up first, we've got American Hillbilly joining us. He's invited the entire Hillbilly Nation to my garage. American Hillbilly, what is going on? How you doing, bud?
Hi, buddy. Doing all right this morning?
So, the Hillbilly Nation, they just got across the border from Missouri to Nebraska. It's not like you've got an Oregon Trail style trip or anything like that, just get the truck fueled up and get over here. So, yeah.
Yeah, if they're all not passed out, if they got up in the morning. I mean, there might be a few of them still up drinking beer or something. They're liable to show up too. So,
yeah, some people start at 8 o'clock in the morning. I gotta give you credit. I really like how you're reaching out to that vegan crowd with that avocado toast video. Why don't you tell everybody what the avocado toast video was all about? Because avocado toast is the rage right now. Like, everybody loves it, and you showed us how to make it from a 100% sustainably sourced energy source, not burning fossil fuels. So what? Well, maybe you did. I don't know. What did you do? Tell us about the avocado toast video.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go find it. Go ahead.
This is about as green as the Hillbilly Nation gets sometimes,
Yeah.
But yeah, we decided, if you had some avocado toast or some toast, and you had some avocado, and didn't have electricity, whatever the case might be, how can you make your avocado toast? So we checked to see which caliber made the best avocado toast. So we went for the full, spread, we had the toast right behind the avocado.
Well, avocados are expensive, and you've got to be as efficient as possible, because otherwise you're just wasting your money, I mean, that's just really the reality of it. So don't tell us how it ended, because we don't want to ruin the surprise. In fact, I'm going to paste the link right there right now for everybody to check out the avocado toast video after the podcast. But what did you learn? What did you discover? Was there any new insight from this scientific project and so on?
Well, I will tell you that the handgun had the best spread versus a shotgun. You think the other way around, but you'll have to see what happens, what the difference is, But yeah, I mean, we fairly got it down to good science, I mean, you're ready to go in the morning, you go out there, you slap your toast down, your avocado, one shot, add a little salt, pepper, you're on your way to work. I mean, you're ready to go, fella.
I mean, you get to work on your marksmanship skills. You get to practice healthy eating. you get, you know, and you're not doing anything that's damaging to the environment and so on. I think that's
not
wonderful. Yeah, well, so everybody, I put the link on there. If you're watching the feed right now, or you're checking this on the afterplay, definitely make sure that you go check out you know, American Hillbilly's video
Thank you,
on
Travis.
avocado toast. Yeah, this could be your Hickok 45 moment right here. You might just get into a new thing where you just shoot vegetables and make natural spread, you know.
Yeah, well, you can't compare me to the man, the myth, the legend, Hickok. I mean,
man, all right.
Well, we all know he's all. Anytime we're looking at it again, we go to his channel because we know he's already shot it and reviewed it. So.
He brought me in, him and Nothing Fancy and like James Yeager, you know, some of the big channels that get force fed to you when you first get into to being a firearms fanatic on YouTube. Those are the ones that get pushed across to you. So I hear where you're coming from. So. And here's another person that's big on like blended substances like mayonnaise and stuff. Kingpin, what's going on, Kingpin? How you doing?
Excuse me, I got a mouthful of mayonnaise right now. Excuse me.
Oh man. So how's your morning going? Did you get to make your avocado toast this morning?
Yeah, I definitely made my avocado toast, and then I incinerated it with napalm. The same thing I did with that mayonnaise.
Oh yes, because we know you're a fan of that. So how's everything going right now, man? Are you happy? Are you good? I see you're promoting some really cool channels out there on your channel. So how are things going these days?
Oh man, I'm always good. This
good.
They can't get me, you know. So I'm always good.
Well, man, I appreciate having you here. You've been with us for a long time, and again, I hope you enjoyed the discussion. So we'll do a little roundtable and kind of get everybody's take on non-5.56 308 ARs here. When we get into the discussion, but make sure you check out the Kingpin channel. He's always promoting a lot of the smaller channels, and he's basically our media. I've said it before. I'm Mike Tyson, and he's my Don King. I mean, he really is the guy that creates the hype around meat, you know. So I appreciate it.
In America.
Only in America. That's right. Only in America can this happen. No problem, man. All right. Also joining us, we've got Squiblode. Squiblode, how's your morning going? How's that coffee going down?
It's coffee.
It's there. Like it's warm and it's
drinking this coffee, going back to this coffee would be like me having a natty light tonight. I could stomach it, but I'd be going, why did I drink this for so long?
You know, it's important to never be a rude guest if somebody offers you some sort of food or beverage. But if you don't have to go back to it, you try not to. It's kind of funny how you try to go back to your roots and they're just so disappointing, you know?
Yeah, well, I ran out of all the snobby coffee that I order off the interwebs and have shipped to me. And I had to go get some Maxwell House, so I'm paying the price for my not doing my due diligence. Now, here's the worst thing about being a YouTuber who does coffee reviews is that I've got 3 bags of coffee coming in tomorrow afternoon, and I won't be able to review them till next weekend because I'm working like a shift and a half every night. So I'm getting up late. I'm coming home late. I'm not going to open up the coffee unless I could do a review on it. So I've got to wait.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Got to wait for the weekend, more or less.
Now that your palate has come full circle and you fully blossomed into the coffee taste tester that you are, I consider you an expert now along the same level as me. Why don't you go back and do a Maxwell House review and give people a critical review of that product and maybe help them understand why it's time to consider something different, you know?
I mean, I might go with something like 8 o'clock coffee, which is it's supposed to be better than Maxwell House, but not so much.
It is. I've had I've had the K-Cup version of it, and I really enjoy it. They do like hazelnut and regular and stuff. For those of you that don't know, Squib does a lot of coffee reviews, and I've got a B channel called Coffee Computers and More where I do coffee reviews. Sometimes I do them on my A channel if they're two-way related or something to do with, you know, with the nature of this channel. So so Squibload, you just get a couple of cups of Maxwell House down, and then you let us know how you're doing, okay?
Yeah, thanks.
So Sam of Anarchy says, at Travis P11, does anybody here drink Black Rifle coffee? So here's the deal. I did a lot of Black Rifle coffee. When they first came out 3 or 4 years ago, I don't remember what year it was, I was huge on that, huge proponent of their product. I love what they did for veterans, and I still do, okay? And I love the whole tactical feel of what they do and just how awesome they are and how cool like the Matt Bez videos are. But then Evan Hayford kind of got himself, the founder of Black Rifle Coffee Company, got himself into some trouble for some groups that he contributed to that were anti-gun, although he had claimed in interviews, and this is for you to make your own judgment call. He had claimed that he had lost a bet So he had to donate money to these anti-gun groups, and that somebody had audited him, his contributions, and found out that he had contributed to these groups. And then they came out and said, well, it wasn't, we do a lot for everybody else, and it was a mistake, and we're sorry. So, I mean, I haven't gone back to them. And then they had also said a few things about how they would be happy to distance themselves from a certain portion of their consumer base. They didn't come out and say right-wing extremists or conservatives or MAGA fans, right? But they did kind of alienate the base that founded them. It's like, how could you contribute to anti-2A groups? How could you even think about doing it when your logo is an SBR? Yeah. I'm just saying, So I personally, I don't have anything against the company. All right. It's great that they're an American success story. They help a lot of people. They do wonderful things, but I just don't support their products. I've gone over to Blackout Coffee Company and I drink other brands. So that's my soapbox. All right. Let's go and move on down to Single Shot.
Wait, hold on a second.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'll say it because I'm not as nice as you, Travis. They're douches. I reviewed their product too. I wanted to support them too. They lost my business. They're never going to get it back. There's a lot of alternatives out there. Watch their commercials. You can't help it. The YouTube saturated with them. I mean, these guys are full of themselves. Yep. That's it.
Well, like they're promoting and marketing has a lot of energy and hype and the whole tactical lifestyle and the bro truck lifestyle, if you will. And I like that youthful energy, but when I don't know. I mean, they've got big egos, and that's what's made them a huge company. But just kind of what's happened on the side and how they kind of turned on their base now that they've become so mainstream, that really bothers me because they've got the money and the power to basically tell whatever group wants to take the pro 2A community down. But are they really pro 2A? I don't know. I mean, they're pro veteran. They claim to be pro freedom. So
I'm going to say they're not. They're not. But okay. Hey, they're profiting off of it though. And that's all. That's capitalism. As long as
if you go back and look at their videos now, there's no criticism of them from what happened in the past. People have already forgotten and moved on. If you go back and look at the earlier videos, when the whole Evan Hafer thing came out, there was a lot of people ripping on their channel saying unsubbed. How can you do this? I can't believe you'd even think about contributing to these groups and stuff. And I mean, I don't know. I mean, this will probably
everybody's got their threshold for this stuff. Some people might say, how can you buy this product? This, and you'd be like, I'm fine with it. And somebody else will say, no, I don't see a problem. Why are you being so? Everybody makes their own decisions, and I kind of pick and choose. I don't really have a rhyme or reason for it. I don't care if somebody else drinks it, but if I do come over, give me some Maxwell House before you give me their crap.
Ooh, okay. All right, and last but certainly not least, we've got Single Shot joining us. Single Shot, how's your morning going, dude? How you doing?
Well, so far so good. I'm down here in Virginia, just rolling around here, nice and easy to get into the fuel line there this morning. But I am headed home. Finally, I should be home Monday, maybe Tuesday.
Cool.
Been hauling heavy all week. I've had 3 very heavy loads to move around this round, and it's been a little rough on the body, to say the least.
It's a lot of time on the road, man.
I'm having, huh?
That's a lot of time on the road, man.
Yeah, it is. It is. I'm going to be running on recaps going back this time, so
yeah,
I got to watch my hours of service. But anyway, we'll take it as it comes and do what we can do. I hope everybody has a great day. You want to say good morning to everybody in the chat and the panel?
There you go. All right, let's go ahead and say hello to who's out there in the chat watching this morning. We got Mountain View out there. We got Hillbilly Up, Kevin June, Sam of Anarchy 92. We got G23, YNH, Fluffy 10mm, Jeeve Guy, Caliburst 32 Special. New York Outcast is out there today too. Krabby Turtle's out there. Yeah, we got a lot of people already chatting, discussing, kind of sharing their opinions on these different calibers. Let's see, Defense Dad's out there. He says he could have gone to McDonald's and got a good coffee for $1. Yeah, but I mean, who knows how far Mickey D's is, and sometimes it's easier just to make it at home and wake up. But I hear where you're coming from, Defense Dad. I hear you.
See, I have money to buy gun stuff because I'm not out buying fast food all the damn time.
Ooh, all right. But it's only $1. Let's see. Tacos and French fries joining in today. Let's see who else is out there. Did I miss anybody? Zinger's out there this morning. Squiblip is out there. Chris from the 740 is out there today too. Tommy Gunn's watching. We got a pretty big crowd out there today. M. Gabriel joining in. All right. So the idea here. Go ahead. Yeah.
Before we get off the taste testing thing, I'm going to put a link out for a channel called Chew Chew Park.
Okay.
You might know him from Pew Pew Park or Psycho 316. Chew Chew Park is his taste test kind of grabs weird stuff that people sell and he eats it on camera for everybody.
Oh my gosh.
So I'll put a link out to there. And
cool.
Like I said, you all know him. Psycho 316. He used to hang out all the time. So,
I've seen Pew Pew Park show up a lot. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and that's Psycho. He changed it from Psycho to Pew Pew Park, and then he wanted to do a separate taste test channel, so he started Chew Chew Park.
Okay.
So I'm going to leave that link out there for everybody.
Yeah, some good videos on that channel. He really takes one for the team.
Heck yeah, man. Right on. Okay. So here we are. We're having this discussion. Just share your opinion with me. Is it worth looking into calibers other than 308 or 5.56 when it comes to AR platform rifles? And if so, what could be the appeal to somebody to get away from 308 and 5.56? I personally don't care what you buy. You go get what you want. Again, in the words of Squib, it's personal preference. You shoot whatever you want to shoot. All right. I've had mixed experiences once I've gotten away from 5.56 and 308 and AR platform rifles, even though I've tried to do everything possible to make the rifles function as well as I can. I'll share some of my experiences last. So American Hillbilly, we'll start off with you. Do you think that people should just stick with the bread and butter 308 or 5.56, or do you think they should maybe dabble a little, say 300 Blackout or one of the 6.5, Spawn? What do you think?
Well, I was talking to you earlier. I really kind of like the 300 Blackout. But I was also looking at some of the lists here that, platforms that are in the AR, category. And myself, actually, I didn't realize that there was a 50 Beowulf in there.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, well, man, I think if I can shoot all these, I can make a better decision, But as far as me, and I know some people, a lot of times you're going to shoot whatever caliber of bullets, ammo that you have, and so, some people might choose a certain caliber only because that's what they have the most ammo in, their pistol or whatever other rifles carry it. So I think that's always a good, rule of thumb to kind of stand by also, so.
Okay. And again, once you start to look into other calibers, you want to educate yourself on like the pros and the cons. And we were having that discussion on 300 Blackout. And I said, I love it. I just don't love the 75 cents per trigger pull unless you reload it yourself. That turns into an expensive magazine. And I did dabble in 300 Blackout for a couple of years, and the only reason why I just had moved on is just because there's other calibers I wanted to try. And I kind of feel like it's had its run with me, and it's great. It's wonderful. But if you want to try it, go right ahead. The nice thing is, again, if you've got the AR lower that's compatible with the upper, you can swap the upper or get a pistol lower if you're going to go with the shorter barrel or SBR your rifle. You've got a lot of options, and it doesn't cost a whole lot of money to get yourself into a new caliber,
Yeah, and that's a great thing about the AR platform. I mean, I really like that, but about the platform.
Yeah, for me, that's one of the reasons why I've tried all these different calibers. Well, I've already got the lower. So either I buy it, and as you guys know, I'll just be transparent. Bear Creek Arsenal has sent me AR uppers in the past for promotion, and then also sent me uppers, to test on the channel. So, but anywho, all right. Single shot. Let's move on to you. What are your thoughts on getting into AR rifles not chambered in 5.56 or 308? Would you stay away, or are you all for it? What do you think?
Oh no, I'm definitely into it.
Yeah.
300 Blackout, 450 Bushmaster, 6.5 Grendel, 300 Blackout. Yeah, I definitely have got a few of them. I got two of the 5.56 versions. So it works out well. Get that variety.
for a lot of people, if you're in a straight wall cartridge state and you're allowed to use semi-auto and you've already got the AR lower, then it does get you into that caliber you could hunt with or home defense with or train with or just shoot with. It does open you up to more possibilities when you go that route, So it's not necessarily a bad thing to think about considering other calibers. Okay. Squib, what about you? What are your thoughts on it? And Squib, I do have to admit, we had that discussion on the 7.62x39 AR. What do you call it? AR-47, I guess, if you will. And you and I had that chat, and I told you about kind of my experiences with it, and it just didn't really trigger you. It doesn't really light your fire much. What are your thoughts just in general, getting away from 308 or 5.56? Squib might be getting another cup of coffee. Squib will come back to you in a minute, bud, or you might be looking for the mute button. It's all good. All right. Kingpin, what about you?
Well, I'm going to take the most lock steady, rock hard, wishy-washy stand that you've ever heard. So yes, I'm going to be highly contradictory.
Okay.
I think that as a purist, 5.56, 223, even 308 is where you should go with the AR. But I do also understand that the AR is the Lego set of the firearms world. So you've got to just assume that every caliber is eventually going to be stuck into an AR. So you can't really, it's kind of like the 9mm 1911. It's sinful and you should be punished and whipped for doing such a thing. But I understand why there's a thing out there because, like Squib says, there's all kinds of people answering questions that never got asked. And the same thing with the AR. I do like the 458 Bushmaster. I do like the 300 Blackout. Obviously, 22 is the greatest round ever invented. So I do have open arms to multiple different calibers. I also do think that sometimes it's taken too far. 9mm, any pistol caliber, like actual small pistol bullet in an AR is a little bit unacceptable, except for the 22.
Yeah. Okay. No, it's and that's part of it too, is that modularity, that flexibility, the fact that with certain brands that you go with, you can get into these other calibers for just a couple $100. And if you don't like it, you can always sell the upper too. That's been the experiences that I've had also. Let's look and see what we have for some, and just real quick, here's just kind of a run through of some of the possibilities. This isn't everything, and I'm sure I'm going to miss some caliber that somebody says, well, what about this? What about that? So with an AR-15 compatible lower, you've got, whether it's a pistol or rifle lower, you got 22 long rifle, 22 Magnum, obviously 223 Wild, which is just 223 Remington 5.56 with a mild chamber difference between either one of those two individually. 224 Valkyrie, 300 Blackout, 450 Bushmaster, 458 SOCOM, 6.5 Grendel, 7.62x39, 12.7x42. Is that the Beowulf cartridge? I can't remember if that's what they actually call it technically. And then 350 Legend. Then if you go AR-10, you've got 6.5 Creedmoor, 243 Winchester, 308, 22, 250. So there's a lot of flexibility out there. Anyway, real quick, what's the chat saying about this? What's going on? New York Outcast says, I love my 22 AR-ish rifle, but I don't think that counts. Well, it does because it's not 223. Mike B says, now you can get 22 mag uppers. I kind of question the reliability of just those uppers. I was looking at the Bear Creek ones, and when you read the reviews, they really seem to be hit or miss Tuesday nights at 9 o'clock with their quality. Because some people say that they have problems with the extractors or they have like FTFs. I'd like to try one. I think Bear Creek maybe needs to work on maybe just the engineering behind it, or maybe make some modifications so they're more reliable. But I'm sure there's going to be somebody out there that'll say, well, mine does 1,000 rounds at a time with no issues, right? Tony York says, well, because we've got 30-06 and 44 Magnum, there's no reason to consider any other chambering. But it goes beyond that, Tony. I mean, really, it opens up the flexibility for somebody to get into another caliber for another application for really not a lot of money. You don't even, for less than the cost or the same cost of going out there and buying another bolt action rifle, let's just say, or another semi-auto rifle in a different caliber, you can just get the upper and slap it on your AR, especially if you're already invested in the furniture, the accessories, the optics. If you're an AR platform person, switching calibers, it's not going to feel much different. You're already going to be familiar with what it does, and maybe you can maximize what that new caliber has to offer. Or, maybe you want the caliber for, say, you want to go hog hunting, right? And you want something that's got deadly takedown, good terminal ballistics, fast follow-up shots, and you don't feel like walking through the brush with a bolt action 300 blackout. You'd rather have it at a semi-auto platform because you're dealing with dangerous game, right? So, I mean, I can see, and I'm not just trying to make it the discussion about hunting. I'm just saying that it really does open up the flexibility and possibilities of your investment, that being your AR lower, AR-10 or AR-15. Hey, Squib, are you back with us?
Yeah, I was going to get crappy coffee, I guess.
No, that's okay. I figured that. What are your thoughts on deviating from 308 or 5.56? Bad idea, okay idea? And I know your opinion is always to each his own, but what are your thoughts, pros and cons of getting away from 308 or 5.56 with your existing lower, essentially? What do you think? What are your thoughts?
So if you're talking about taking your existing lower, maybe even your existing magazine, and just putting another upper on there using your bolt carrier group, and or maybe even trying to think if would it be completely, well, you might have to get a different bolt carrier group too, but
yeah, we'll just say
dropping it on there and then using your serialized part, and then having multiple, being able to switch it out to multiple calibers. It's good economy.
Yes.
It's good economy. I mean, I like to have a lower for every upper, but if I didn't, it wouldn't be the end of the world. So if you were trying to get into something for less money and you already had the frame to put it on, why not, right?
Mm-hmm.
I got one for you, Travis. Maybe
go ahead, Kingpin. Yeah.
Obviously, the 22 is going to be a hot topic. My thing with the 22 AR is you have to have a 22 built AR. I don't mess with the conversion kits.
Okay.
Make the conversion kits and ship them to the sun. But if you want a 22 AR, buy a 22 built AR.
Get an M&P or some other brand of one.
Yes.
I'd recommend the Smith & Wesson. I've heard that they're the most reliable out of all the ones that are out there.
And I'm well aware of the fact that everybody's going to yell at me and say, no, my conversion kit's the greatest thing I've ever had in the world. Great. I'm glad that your conversion kit is great. I think the conversion kit is stupid. I think you should just buy a 22 AR.
Okay.
So when I've looked at conversion kits for somebody else, not for me, anyhow, I had somebody ask me about that. I went looking into it, and for the cost of the conversion kit, you could just buy the rifle. I mean, seriously. I mean, it's a little bit more. I mean, if $10 or $20 is going to break you, you got bigger issues.
No, their CMMG kits are usually $179 for the 3 mag bolt carrier group package that I tend to see online. They might MSRP it at like $299, but they sell for $150 to $179 all day.
All right, I was looking at other kits then, but
maybe there's other brands. I'm just saying CMMG is kind of the standard that I tend to see advertised everywhere, But you can get. Go ahead.
Well, no, you go ahead.
Well, you can get cheaper 22 ARs. Chiappa makes one. Mossberg has one. I wouldn't recommend them, but there's cheaper. There's probably some Turkish things out there you can get that are 22 LR AR platform rifles that are sort of compatible, but not.
It might have been the time frame that I looked at it. It was a long time ago, but I looked at 22 conversion kits for rifles and handguns, and I'm going, why? But it's your money. Spend what you want. Some people will make a decision on a $500 item because the one next to it's $490 or something. Whatever. But I'm not a big fan of it. There's already other platforms out there that do it. The manual of arms is the same. So from that standpoint, I get it. And I understand why some people use it. They just want cheap ammo. Or it's the whole noise. There's no recoil, noise flash thing. I get it. You might even have a range too, where they might, have something about rimfire. They may want you to use rimfire or have a rimfire only section or something like that. Yeah. So, but that's just it. It's rimfire. It jams. It jams worse than a rimfire gun is going to jam worse than an M16 on full auto. But that and it's just other things. 22 long rifles good for practice. It's good for plinking and fun. It's good for hunting. But I have plenty of 22s. I don't know. That's one of those ones where I don't even know that I'd take a free 22 AR-15. I just don't know.
Does New York Outcast have anything? How's his experiences been with his Smith & Wesson?
His experiences, all four guns that he owns are the best guns. They're the only guns.
Well,
and if you don't have those guns, then you got the wrong gun, because his guns are the only guns anybody should ever have, and they're all New York compliant.
Well, he's got to do what he's got to do. So it's yeah. So let's talk real quick. I want to address Kevin Jung's question, and then we'll kind of get into some. And again, we're not trying to dissuade or push anybody away from going with other calibers. Go
ahead. No, I was just going to say my brother just bought one of those adapters.
Yeah,
for the AR-15 for 22 long rifle.
Mm-hmm.
And we put a bunch of ammunition through that thing, different types. And the only thing that the thing balked at was the subsonic stuff, like CCI quiet, stuff like that. But we had real good accuracy, didn't have any problems with it as far as that was concerned, to the point of what I just mentioned, because it would stovepipe and bend the cases all to pieces that it tried to eject. But as far as accuracy was concerned on that AR-15 upper, original chambering 223, it shot very well. I forgot two of them there that I had when you asked what I had for the calibers. I got 7.62 by 39 and the AR-10 308.
Yeah, no, we're talking non-308, non-5.56.
Yeah.
We're kind of getting away because, in my opinion, those are tried and true platforms that are tuned and built to be as efficient as they can, to run as well as they can. Where once you start to dabble in other calibers, the gun might run that round, but is it going to shoot it well? Is it going to cycle properly? And again, we're kind of working up to common issues you could run into with these guns when you get away from a well-built 5.56 or 308 rifle, AR-10 or LRSR 308 platform. So, but see, so you're saying that there was some trouble with subsonics, and I go back to Kingpin's point where he says just go buy a purpose-built 22 LR AR and be happy, because that gun was designed with certain parameters. In my opinion, it's probably going to be more functional because of the way that it was designed. It's purpose-built to be a 22 LR AR platform rifle versus the adapter. I'm not knocking the adapters at all, but let's just say you get the CMMG kit, you get the kit, and you're like, okay, I want to run subsonic suppressed on my AR. I've got the CMMG kit. I just spent $600 or $700 on a suppressor. I know that 22 LR cans are less. I've got it on there, but now it doesn't cycle. So maybe I should have just bought a purpose-built, 22 LR, AR in the first place, and I would probably not have the issues I'm having right now. So now I've got to go buy another gun to do what I wanted to do originally. So that's kind of what happens once you start to deviate from the formula. You can start to run into some issues, And I understand subsonic ammo maybe just doesn't have that kick to cycle the bolt carrier group as well as it normally would. But if you had a gun that was designed from the ground up to be a 22 LR AR pattern rifle, then maybe it's going to run a little bit better,
Yeah. I got a real quick one for you, Travis. This should satisfy everybody.
Go ahead.
All right, just imagine, if you will, it's a beautiful sunny day, and you take your family to the range, and you take your AR 5.56, and you throw your 22 conversion kit in there, and then you make a video about shooting 333 rounds through it and then never failing once. And then you take that gun and put it back in the case and take it back home and sit it in the closet. And then that night, the zombies show up. And you grab for your AR and you've got nothing but a 22 conversion kit in there. And then the zombies just ate your face off. And it's all.
But headshots are super easy in the dark. Everybody does it on TV. If you can just do headshots, you're going to be fine.
Yeah.
You put on your thermals, you put on your laser, your IR laser.
You have your 223 magazine and you want to stick it in there, and now your gun is broken. Now your dog has been eaten by the zombies.
No, you can use your AR as a club at that point if you have to. I mean, you've got the butt stock on it, and it's a substantial piece of steel.
22 conversion kit made it lighter, and when you hit the zombie in the head, he was like, it didn't even hurt. If it had 6 bolts in it, I'd be dead. But it had 22 bolts in it, so I didn't even feel it.
Well, that's why you got to have your children trained with their own firearms. Yeah.
Kingpin, you have to properly label your zombie guns, buddy.
They should be bright green.
You have no problem grabbing it.
bright green with biohazard
You
paint
guys
on
are
them.
all adding way too much. You guys are all adding way too many obstacles in your way. So I'll keep all your stuff when the zombies have eaten you.
That's a good one. What's a guy supposed to do? You know, I mean, that is a good argument right there. So, so real quick, want to address Kevin Jung's question here. He goes, I know the special ops guys run 300 blackout because of silence as well. Any other reason? Well, we've had discussions on 300 blackout before. The idea behind it, way I understand it, was designed to give you better terminal ballistics out of a shorter barrel versus a 16-inch, 5.56 rifle. It was designed to give you like a complete powder burn out of a barrel that's 9 or 9.5 inches, maybe 8.5 inches. And so therefore it's going to have the power it needs for close quarters combat, but then also offer a variety of grain weights because 300 blackout comes like that, subsonic, supersonic. I just think it's designed to be a more efficient gun with a shorter barrel than other firearms, like an AK-47 that's a shorter barrel, or an AR-15 with a shorter barrel on it. That's kind of my understanding behind 300 blackout, the philosophy behind it. But it could have just been a marketing thing. I don't know. Because the way I understand it, just your standard 300 blackout round, we could argue it's comparable to a 7.62x39 AK-47 round, all right, or AK pattern rifle round. So, but me, okay, so here's my deal. I've had two 300 blackout uppers, 10.5 inch and 8.5 inch. Originally, I got that because I thought, okay, I can run subsonic and get a can and get a nice home defense rifle setup. Well, the thing I ran into with 300 blackout was it was expensive to shoot on a regular basis. I mean, I was pushing 75 cents a round, and you got to pay to play with some of these calibers. And so me wanting to train with it and make it my home defense rifle, it just didn't really seem financially feasible. I've got other rifles that would do the job that I can run suppressed if I want to. So that was kind of why I dabbled in 300 black. I do like the caliber, and my rifle ran like a champ. I was running a Bear Creek 10.5 inch upper that just ran just fine, and you can get 16-inch uppers if you want to, if you're just a 300 blackout fan. Some people are, you have your caliber preference. Maybe you like the way it shoots. Maybe you don't mind the recoil, but you get the better ballistics versus other calibers. So anyway, that's kind of the idea behind 300 blackout, was essentially a more efficient powder burn with a shorter barrel, Let's see. Tacos and French fries says, what type of coffee do the zombies like? I don't know. Anything that's probably got like brain flavoring in it or something like that. So I don't know. It's a tough one. So yeah. All right. So here's the deal. Here are some of the, so if we talk you into a different caliber after today's episode and you go buy it, here are some of the common issues that I've run into before. You guys feel free to chime in if you've ever had problems with like non-308 or non-5.56 uppers, if you've ever done these before. Let's start off with 7.62x39. Okay. I bought that because at the time I had a ton of steel case 7.62x39 ammo. I already had a couple AK-47s or AK pattern rifles, right? And I just wanted to just try it on my AR-15 lowers because, well, I've already got the lowers. And at the time, I was getting the uppers either sent to me from Bear Creek or I was buying them, and I did, for like $200. I already have red dots, I already have optics, I already had flip-up sights sitting around, I already had furniture. So I put it on there. I took it to the range, and the gun had issues. It had issues right out of the start. I had issues feeding rounds. I had issues getting rounds going off. You can watch the video. I did an unboxing with a 300 blackout upper and a 7.62x39 upper, took them both to the range, and they both had problems. I was pretty disappointed. I got everything all packed up, went out there, and had problems. So what I discovered with the 7.62x39, and I don't know if they advertise, like these companies will say that, we can't guarantee, cycling, efficient cycling if you're running steel case ammo. And 7.62x39 that's chambered in brass, if you don't load it yourself, is pretty pricey. It's an expensive round to buy, right?
Yeah.
So what I ended up having to do is I tried like 3 mags before I finally got one that would cycle properly. And I was using the C Products Defense Duramags at the time. And I had one that the bolt carrier kept getting caught on the mag. And then I had 2 that would feed. One wouldn't feed if it was loaded up to 30 rounds. I had to load it to 28 or 29. And maybe that would be more reliable as time went on. If I ran the 20-round mags, I had no trouble at all. So then I'm like totally getting away from the whole idea of getting it, which was, something comparable to my AK-47, but in an AR platform. So Squid, when you and I were having that discussion, I was saying, I got it mainly because I just wanted to try it, see what it felt like. I had a ton of ammo at the time, right? And my experiences was I was a little let down. And then to get the gun to run efficiently, I ended up having to buy a $25 enhanced firing pin. This was before Bear Creek included their enhanced firing pins now with their 7.62 by 39 uppers. Eventually, I ended up having to put a Wolf heavy-duty hammer spring, which gave me a heavier trigger pull, which wasn't a big deal, but that's what it took to get it to cycle Tula. I don't know what's up with Tula ammo now, but my stepdad had bought some fresh Tula, and it was just not. It was getting pinged with the firing pin on some of his uppers, and it was not going off. And I don't know if they're using super hard primers or if they've changed the formula, but newer Tula 7.62 by 39, or maybe the last of what we're getting imported, it's really a monster to try to get it to run through your gun. So that was my experience with the 7.62 by 39, finicky with mags. And eventually, I'm going to be honest with you guys, I did sell my 7.5 inch 7.62 by 39 upper for two reasons. One, it was a side charger. And then, the handle would come loose after a couple mags. It didn't once I put the new handle on it, the aftermarket handle that I bought. But two, I just never felt like I could rely on it to function and feed the way I wanted. Sure, the first round would go off, but it always seemed to be finicky. And so because of that, I just kind of got away from it. Now, here's the funny part. I had a 16-inch 7.62 by 39 Bear Creek Arsenal upper, rear charger, just standard, almost looked like mil-spec. Ran like a champ. Never had problems with it. So when you get into this, just don't make this your primary gun. Or if it is, you better hope it's going to run and make sure that it's not going to have any issues. So I'm just saying, Tim Harper's out there. He says, just warning everybody, if they call my pistol an SBR because of the SBA3 brace, they can get you as well. So Tim Harper, I've seen you mention this comment on other channels. You had talked about you had an AR pistol that was confiscated because you had an SBA3 brace on the back of it. I would say you'd have a pretty good arguing case out there, because the way that I understand it, as long as you're not, exceeding the ATF point system on your AR pistol, you should not have any problems at all. So yeah, I've seen you mention this in other chats before, Tim. So I wasn't sure exactly what your situation is. So, okay, other problems I've run into. With my 6.5 Creedmoor upper, it's been good. I haven't had any problems. I've got an ASC mag with it. And that's the other thing. You might have to try a couple different varieties of mags to get it to work properly. That's something you could run into. So it's just, they're not always going to be perfect. So it's cool to get away from these other calibers, but you want to read the reviews and really do your research, because you might have to do some tinkering to get it to work. All right. Also joining us this morning is Defense Dad. Defense Dad, what's up? How you doing, man? What's up?
I'm slightly awake.
All right. So what are your experiences with 7.62 by 39? Because you and I have shared an upper before. So what do you think?
I liked it. The only reason I got rid of it is I'm left-handed. It was a side charger, and I got tired of getting hit in the face with the injection shells.
But Bear Creek does offer a left-hand eject, right? If I'm not mistaken, they offer an Andy. Okay, or a left-handed. Yeah, now. But at the time, yeah.
But I shot that thing quite a bit. I didn't have any problems with it. I don't know. My as far as my take on this whole topic on the show is, as long as you get the 5.56 or the 308 first, why the hell not get something else? If you want to try some different calibers, it's a hell of a lot cheaper than buying a whole new gun. And if you find you don't like it, you're out a lot less money.
Yeah. Now, how have your experiences been with your CMMG conversion kit? And I know you and I personally on the side have talked about it, and I've been interested in buying one. What pros and cons do you see with it? What have you run into?
Well, see, I had a lot of people warn me about getting one. There's other brands out there. CMMG seems to be the standard, the one that runs well. Like Big Shots, the Jim out there told me that he wouldn't even sell anything other than theirs because they've had problems with them. But mine, we've had really good. We've shot it a lot. Initially, when you get them, the springs and the mags are tight, so if you fully load the mags, you're going to have some feeding problems until they break in. But I don't have any issues with keyholing. They seem to be reliable. And like I put in the chat, be honest, if you're going to get a conversion kit, it's because you want to go shoot a lot and shoot cheaply and just have some fun. It's not something you're going to make as a dedicated AR with a conversion kit.
So if somebody decides to go this route, they're interested in conversion kits. Have you heard about rate of twist and how that could affect accuracy? That's something we need to look into. If you get a 1 in 6, 1 in 7, 1 in 8,
Yeah, I've heard, it's obviously not designed to shoot 22. It might not have depending on the twist rate of your barrel, it may not have it, optimized for it. But again, if you're just plinking away for fun, I wouldn't rely on it with the conversion kit for self-defense or that. And it's really just my daughter and I want to go shoot 500 rounds, and it's way cheaper to do it with 22 than it is with 223.
Yeah. And I can see where you're coming. Just make sure you change the bolt carrier group so the zombies don't get you. That's a kingpin recommendation there for you. So.
Yep.
All right. Yeah. And so, when it comes to, so here we go. Patrick Pupio up here says, I sold my 7.62x39 AR ammo and did an 18-inch 6.5 Grendel. It's a night and day in reliability and accuracy. And I don't have much experience with 6.5 Grendel. A lot of people are saying out here in the chat, and I've heard great things about it. Honestly, I just hadn't gotten into it because the ammo during the pandemic was so hard to find. Like, unless you wanted to get it online. No, you might have a store that carried it the whole time, but I couldn't get squad for 6.5 Grendel on the shelves. Even 6.5 Creedmoor disappeared. So, I mean, that's one of the reasons why I didn't really deal with it. But I will say, like, if you're considering another caliber, the best reliability I've had so far that didn't require a different firing pin, and that's probably because I'm buying basically domestically produced ammo and didn't require an extra hammer spring, was my 300 Blackout upper. So if you want something a little bit different, or you want to run suppressed, you want the most efficient round you can get with a shorter barrel, consider 300 Blackout, because that's essentially what it's designed for. So that's really what gave me the best reliability overall. And like I said, I've tested a lot of these. Now, with our 450 Bushmaster upper, Defense Ed, did you have any problems with that when you were testing it?
Well, no, but I didn't shoot it very much. We didn't have much ammo.
Yeah. But what we got, we ran Hornady Black through it, running just a basic. Well, you and I did we share lowers? I can't remember. Did you have your own lower forks? I think I used a Bear Creek lower on mine. You just took the upper, didn't you? Or did I?
Yeah, but I used my. Let's see. I think I used my
Bear Creek.
I think the one I built, I believe.
Okay. Yeah, and then we both had no issues with it. We shot it at Thunder on the Prairie. Other people got to take shots with it, and it was fine. So, yeah. We
both almost gave ourselves black eyes with it.
Yeah, man, you want to talk about, you got to brace yourself on that. That's got some kick to it. So if you guys get into, 450 Bushmaster, 458 SOCOM, 50 Beowulf, just be ready. Be ready for what it's going to throw your way. So, Tony York says, I do like the numbers of 350 Legend. Dwayne K says, the Smith & Wesson M&P 1522 is a good 22 AR style rifle. Yeah. Let's see. Tony York says, I cannot believe gun people are talking themselves out of another gun. Is this the Twilight Zone? No. We're not saying don't buy them. And I've been trying to emphasize this since we started the podcast, Tony. What I'm saying is, if you get this upper, in my opinion, because it's kind of deviating from the original mil-spec designs or original platforms, expect some issues you're going to run into. Again, go buy whatever you want. I encourage you to. I'm just saying that if I talk you into a 7.62x39 upper and you get it and it's trash, and you say, gee, Travis, you did a whole episode on how awesome this upper is, and I got it and won't run worth a damn. We're just like forewarning you that these are some experiences that we've had before. So no, we would never. I would never encourage somebody to not buy something in a certain caliber. You can go get whatever you want. That's the best thing about this country, right?
Well, what goes too far? Like, imagine this. Imagine Bear Creek Arsenal came out with a 50 BMG AR barrel that's 27 inches long. Are you going to slap that on top of your upper because it's a new cool thing?
If you want to try it, go right ahead. Man, you do that. I mean, when I was shooting the 6.5 Creedmoor AR that I tested on the channel, I mean, that was a pretty stout investment. It took, I had to buy a lower for it. I had to get the magazine for it. It was kind of expensive, and I didn't even know if it was going to run, and it runs great. So, yeah, I mean, if you want to, I don't think you can ever. I think we're just going to keep as more and more rounds get adapted to the AR platform, we're going to keep seeing, more availability. I'm just saying that you can run into issues because you're running, a round through the rifle that it was never originally designed for. So it could take a proprietary bolt carrier group. It could take different feed ramps. It could take a unique magazine. You might try to adapt a different magazine and make it work for you, and it doesn't. So I mean, there's just a lot of little variables that you run into, and that's the idea.
So now, here's what I don't get about the whole argument for people who just say it's a bastardized round or whatever. So you got the same people that will run out and buy. Let's make New York Outcasts happy. They'll go out and buy an M&P, a 9mm 40, now the 10mm. But at the same time, they'll turn around and say, well, but don't buy this and this caliber. Like, I sometimes I wonder where people's limitations stop, and that was kind of the conversation we had with that big long text we had.
Mm-hmm.
I think what the situation comes down to is people get butt hurt. How dare you criticize my gun? How dare you criticize my caliber? How dare you criticize my choice? I don't care what you do. You asked me. Don't ask me if you don't want to hear the answer. If you want me to talk, if you don't want me to talk you out of it or talk you into it, then don't ask my opinion. So I hear a lot of people getting butt hurt when they open the door on it. If you don't want to know, don't ask.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a pretty good idea.
Kind of way
and again,
hard seltzer, buddy.
You can't sell me on that, no matter how. And not even if it was the last thing in the world to consume, would you find me with a can of that in my hand? So I just want to get that out there right now. And again, Tony, I'm not trying to pick on you. I'm just trying to say that, again, we don't want to come off as somebody who would never encourage firearms or sales, Tony. I'm just saying that if you go back to what we said originally, at the beginning, my disclaimer is that this is what we're going to discuss and these are our experiences, and that's all. That's all I'm going to say. So.
Tony, you've been around. These rich guys pretend like they're poor, so that's why they got to talk about converting guns instead of buying another one.
Yeah, because we've got the disposable cash to just go buy whatever uppers we want, right? So. Oh man.
No, I got child support. I'm poor. It's honest.
I got a dog. He's just as expensive as a child. So there you go. So Bearded Lunchbox says, I've got a 10.5-inch Bear Creek Arsenal 762 by 39. I had to Dremel the feed ramp and put an enhanced firing pin in it. And it's worked amazing ever since. But see, the thing is, a lot of your average people or just somebody who's doesn't feel safe doing their own gunsmithing or machining, they're not going to know what to do when it has feeding issues. They're going to send it back, And like my stepdad, when he got his 16-inch 762 by 39, we're on our third one now from Bear Creek because the first one had blown out the pin for the gas tube and the gun wasn't functional. The second one just wouldn't fire, and we checked the firing pin and the firing pin was fine. It was hitting the rounds. It just wasn't going off. So we sent that one back, and then we got the third one and the firing pin broke on its fifth round, and it was the Bear Creek firing pin. So we put our Black Rifle Arms enhanced firing pin back in it. And I don't know if he's tested it since then. So I'm just saying it can be really frustrating for people if they don't kind of know what they're getting themselves into. And that's kind of why we have these discussions on the channel. It's what we like to do, Dwayne K says, if anybody gets a 762 by 39, chambered upper, get the extended firing pin in it first if using Russian ammo. Yeah, there's a lot of companies that sell them now, and you can get enhanced firing pins for like $15, I suppose. I would just do it by default because you never know if whatever ammo you're running through it is can have a particularly hard primer. So that's something to think about. When we say the enhanced firing pins, they basically protrude through the bolt, just like, I don't know how much, like a thousandth of an inch or a hundredth of an inch or whatever, just enough to give you that little extra ping that you need to detonate the round. But like I said, the Tula that we've been shooting lately has really just not been good. So that's why I've been testing other brands on the channel. We've been trying some of these other, like Norma and Bellum and all these other brands too. So let's see. G23 says, make sure you hit the thumbs up. Go ahead, Single Shot.
Yeah, it sounds like that Tula's got some hard primer cups.
Yeah, we've been looking at the rounds. I'm like, how is this not going off? And then we send it through a second time, and then it runs. But it's like, this stuff is pinged just like any other round, and it's just not going off. But it could have been that enhanced firing pin that was having problems. And now when my stepdad takes it out next time, it's going to have the and again, I'm not trying to shill for Black Rifle Arms. I'm just saying that I bought their firing pins, and they do make a difference. So if you're going to get one, go get one from them. I have no promo codes or anything like that. I'm just saying it's a tried and true part for me that does the job, because the Bear Creek firing pins have just let us down. I'm sorry to say it, but it's true. I mean, we're looking at them and they almost look like they're cast. The way that they're breaking, they look almost powdery. So that's why I would say get an enhanced firing pin for that upper. You try theirs if you want, but I have not. And now that's only been on Tula that we've had that issue. When it was cycling like our Winchester brass and our normal brass with no problems. But I mean, who wants to do that at a buck a round? That's kind of one of the reasons why you get this other upper, so you can have some flexibility in the ammunition you run through it.
If you're going to shoot Russian ammo, if you want to shoot reliably, you have to treat your gun with vodka. It'll make them feel more at home.
It'll numb it up. It'll numb it up a little bit. So
I got a quick question, if I could, Travis. And
go right ahead.
This is probably going to be like a squib and a single shot type of deal.
Uh-oh.
And I don't want to get running, so we can just be real brief or talk about it later. But you keep talking about these enhanced firing pins, and then Dwayne was talking about the primers being harder. And I've heard people talk about primers being harder before. Is that because the primer's thicker before you get to the powder or the ignition, source, or is that because it's made of a different metal?
It's made of the same metal, but it's just a little bit thicker.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Because of the dimensions of that round being produced in that country, that's the standard it's always been to. Plus, it's been designed to be run through maybe like a machine gun or through an AK semi-auto or full auto, where it's got a harder hammer strike, so it's built to that spec. And then you try to run it through the AR without a modified hammer spring, and it just doesn't have enough energy behind it to punch that round to get it to go off, because our 223 or 5.56 ammo doesn't have that problem. But here's the funny part: when I run steel case Tula 223, I never have that problem in my AR-15 uppers. So I think it's just the thickness, the diameter, just the sturdiness of that primer that causes the issues. And again, I like having this discussion because so many people just go get that 7.62 by 39 upper and don't have a problem. Now you can get around this. Go buy yourself like a CMMG Mutant, or go over to PSA and go buy one of their AR-47s. And then there's other, fields you run into with that, like a proprietary upper and whatnot. And, some of those are designed to take standard AK mags and so on. So you've got, a lot of flexibility. If you want to just spend the money and go get a standalone firearm, you can always do that too as an option. Fluffy 10 millimeter.
The reason why they made those primer cups a little thicker is to prevent what is called slam fire. In other words, in a semi-automatic rifle, mine will do it once in a while on my 49.56 Moss. If I've got standard boxer primers, once in a while, when that bolt goes forward, there's so much mass in that bolt. When it goes forward, that firing pin goes forward at the same speed until that bolt stops. And when it does, that firing pin keeps trucking and smacks that primer without, somebody pulling the trigger. That's called a slam fire.
Yeah. So that could be just like another safety aid, essentially, is what you're saying, by having that heavier primer that'll prevent that from going off from that design of weapon. Maybe that's why they've always used a thicker metal in the primer itself. Now, I will say this. When you run an enhanced firing pin in your 7.62 by 39 upper, be very careful when you chamber the first round. Always make sure you know where it's pointed, and always make sure it's pointed in a safe direction. Because if you run those enhanced firing pins that I'm telling you about and you eject that round after it's been chambered, it does just gently touch the primer. You can see a little dimple in it that it does put on it. A lot of guns do that, okay? And they're perfectly safe because they don't have the actual striker hitting them with a spring tension or a hammer striking them. But you always want to be very careful when you do that. And then if you check the round and pull it out, it's like, whoa, it actually kind of briefly touched the primer. That's interesting. So that's something that you can run into. Fluffy 10 millimeter Jeep guy says, I'm going to get a 350 Legend upper for hunting in Lower Michigan instead of using my 10 millimeter handgun or shotgun. So, for me also, the other thing too is, a lot of these different calibers, and, in some states you might have to hunt with a particular caliber. And if you're allowed to use semi-auto, depending on what game you're going after, it does make sense to just slap a different upper on there if you can do so. If $300 will get you a complete upper and a caliber that you need to go after whatever you want to go after, or it's your favorite round, then that's one reason to switch uppers. Or maybe you don't want to invest in a whole separate bolt action rifle. You'd rather just have the upper ready to go. Then, a lot of people go that route instead of buying a rifle too. So that's something that people do. Dwayne K says, I've used the CMMJ conversion in my AR. I just don't like switching back and forth. And you could forget to swap it out, and that could be your primary defense rifle. That is a possibility that you could run into. I really want to try one. I do need to pick one up, and I probably will this fall, because I see them for like $149. I'd really like to just try one in different rifles and check the reliability with a variety of ammo and see. Defense Dad, is yours not like any particular type of ammo?
No, I've shot pretty well. I mean, I haven't shot any subsonic through it, but I just shoot whatever I have the most of that's cheapest through it.
But have you tried Aguila through it, which isn't the cheapest ammo, but like have you tried Remington, Aguila, Federal? You've done all those.
I have Winchester, Remington, Federal. I shoot a lot more of that Federal Aftershock just because it was cheap for a while.
Let's see. So yeah, I mean, it really just kind of comes down to what you want to do. I mean, I'm not saying don't try it. It's been fun playing around with these different rifles and stuff, but it's also been expensive because I've had to try multiple magazines and replacement parts and so on. I guess in the end, and I mean, there's a lot of brands that sell, calibers other than 308 or 5.56, you know, for your AR-15 lower or AR-10, LR, SR lower. It's just when you get into it, just kind of go into it with some expectations that it could take some tinkering or fiddling to get the rifle to run the way you want it to. And also, you know, you want to try different varieties of ammo because you could have cycling issues too that you run into. So that's just something to consider also.
So while we're talking about the different caliber AR platforms, does anybody want to talk me out of buying a 450 Bushmaster upper?
No, buy it.
Anybody?
I do. I want to talk you into getting the 458 SOCOM instead, because then you can talk me out of it.
But is that tapered case though? 458 SOCOM? Don't you have to go 450 Bushmaster because it's straight walled for hunting?
Well,
For
also,
hunting.
I have to preface my statement with range gun, and I forgot Squib's probably going to hunt with it.
Okay. All right. Well, since there's nobody that can come up with this speak now or forever hold your peace here, I'm going to go ahead and buy an upper right now.
Oh my God.
Squib,
So just look, make sure you go with the go ahead guys.
This is history in the making right now, Travis. Everybody right here is witnessing something special. Just remember where you were today.
Couple episodes ago, I bought 2 guns while we were on air too. It's something about being on this show. I don't know. I've been looking around for something different. Everybody's got a Bear Creek Arsenal upper. I wanted something different. I found something that was different. Did a little research on it. So, all right.
Well, we do have to disclose though, Squib. Even though you are a panelist, the legal disclosure where Travis is not responsible for any money you spend during or after this show still applies.
It's reciprocal because then somebody talks me into something and I go buy it too. It's bad. It's a very bad. We're saying this jokingly, guys. I mean, we're not saying that again. God, I'm not trying to say don't go buy guns. I'm just saying that it can be expensive. You get hyped up on these things and you go find yourself buying them. You know.
Make sure you get a shoulder pad with that 450 also, buddy.
$29.66 in taxes. Oh, that's a good one for bitter taxpayer. All right, where's the check? There it is at the bottom. You got to scroll all the way down to the bottom.
So
by checking this box, you agree to place in this order. You agree to full terms, and oh yeah, I'm gonna read that here. Just check out.
So here's the thing with the 450 Bushmaster. I believe that I ran the ASC 450 Bushmaster mag through it. Some people are saying, "Oh, you can just run this other mag." I couldn't get it to feed the other mag. They told me to run through it. So get an ASC mag. That's what we used at Thunder on the Prairie, and it was 100% dead reliable. It has a very unique follower that kind of looks like a cutout cylinder. So somebody has said, "Oh, you can just use that mag instead." And I tried to chamber one round, and all it did was jam the gun. I think so. That's the defense that when we were out testing it, that's why we had to single load each round because the mag I brought with wouldn't chamber. And so then I bought the ASC mag. Yeah, then I spent $35 on an ASC mag to get that to go. So DJ Plain Ice is benefiting from my financial loss because he's the guy that got the upper from the Thunder on the Prairie shooting contest that we did. So
yeah, I've got the ASC. I've got the next tab overs, and they are in stock right now. The 5 rounders are in stock, $35. Yeah, sometimes I've shopped there and stuff's been out of. What is with this thing? Sorry, it's giving me issues on the credit card here. It just wants me to re-enter all this stuff again. They're probably
next week's discussion: shopping woes while buying.
You probably used your credit card so much that the mag stripe's worn out.
The credit card's fatigued. It needs time to recover. You got to give it. Let your credit card come up for air.
Your credit card's got the credit card version of arthritis. It's like, oh.
No, I'm trying to force a coupon code through, and it keeps resetting my credit card information. So, yeah, expiration year, whatever. No, I've got the ASC website up so I can order from them next. What would be a bummer is if they were out of stock because that's happened before.
No, I bought ASC mags from other places. I think I went through Gun Mag Warehouse to get it.
Now, if I go to Gun Mag Warehouse, I'll buy mags for a bunch of other guns.
I know, like BM59 or something. Is that
order completed? Yay!
So New York Outcast says that Squib doesn't use his discount. He likes paying full price. So
this time I had to because they sent me a discount code just for looking at their website, which kind of brought up some red flags. So then I did some more digging and whatnot. And after I was sure that it wasn't a Nigerian scam, I tried the code. I guess was only good for one day. I don't like that crap. And it's like, hey, we got to sell, but it's today only, or it's weekend only, or when they send you an email, last chance for your free shipping. Well, then screw you. I'm not giving you my business. When you give me like 3 seconds to decide, I'm busy. I work a lot. I don't have time to just sit there. And it's just like when you guys send me all these links to, hey, man, buy this. I'm at work. I'm not. No.
Or they're like,
I'll
we'll
look at
email
it
you
later.
the
No, I
discount
won't.
code, and you can never find the discount code. Like, it either ends up in the spam folder or you just don't ever get it. I've had that happen with Brownells before. But then you get it. It's like, oh, it's not valid on the following, and it's like 2 pages of stuff you can't buy it with.
Yes.
So, hey, real quick, I want to give a shout out to Oz Art. Kingpin, you promoted this channel on your channel recently, didn't you? Oz Art says, I don't have an AR, but I came in for this. I came in to support. LOL.
Yeah, Oz is my boy. I've known Oz pretty much since I got started messing with like live streams and different stuff like that.
Is Oz Art in the United States?
Yeah, he lives in
the product,
Ozarks area.
Oh, because I was thinking Oz, I was thinking Australian. I wasn't 100% sure because you always hear of Aussies and stuff like that. So yeah.
No, his nickname is Oz. So his channels, it used to be Ozarks was the channel. Then he rebranded and started showing his artwork and stuff like that. So he changed it to Oz Art. But his nickname is Oz, so he just goes by Oz.
So can you contract Oz Art to do design, stickers, T-shirts, and stuff like that? Is that what Oz Art has to offer, or what?
Yeah, he pretty much is an artist, and he does wood burning, leather burning, custom channel logos, or he can just make stickers out of the logo that you already have if you like your current logo. T-shirts, all kinds of different stuff, coasters. Pretty much, I mean, if you come up with an idea, he could probably figure it out for you. Plus, he's a good dude. If you want some type of 80-foot tall diamond statue, he's gonna tell you, man, I can't do
that. Very cool. Yeah, I watched half your video this morning on it. So
yeah, he's cool people. He's an actual friend of mine. So I'm promoting him because I like him and he's my boy, but he's also honest. I'm not gonna come around you guys and promote a shyster or something like that. So
no, I understand, dude.
Oz is right there with all you guys. Like he's super top notch. I text with him all the time, so he's a really, really good friend of mine.
Somebody had a question for Squib?
Yeah, Squib, I'm pretty sure you're going to start loading for that 450. Mine likes the 300 grain hollow point and the 325 grain Hornady flex tip. I've got a cast bullet that I just started casting here a while back, and I'm going to try some of those as well.
Squib, you should have some ammo, right? Didn't we send you back with some? Did you get like a box or half a box from Thunder on the Prairie?
Yeah,
Hornady Black. So you got something to start off with at least, which has been dead reliable for Defense Saturn. It's been perfect. It's been nothing but reliable when we shot it, and then everybody else shot it at Thunder on the Prairie. It's either marketed as Hornady Black or Hornady Custom, I believe, but it's the exact same round. So for whatever reason, they just use 2 different marketings for the exact same ammo. It's identical. I can't find any difference between the two aside from just the box that it comes in. So maybe they market it for different purposes, Yeah. So anyway, that's just kind of what we're saying. So once you get away from 308 and 5.56, and I mentioned this before, you're kind of getting into an area, do some research on that caliber. Make sure you're not just buying, you're not wasting your money. See what people have to say about it. Are they finicky with certain mags? Is the upper going to be finicky with any kind of ammo? Just kind of know what you're getting yourself into before you go out there and buy it. But again, the thing is, with a lot of these uppers coming in at like $300 or below, many of them, including the Bull Carrier Group, it's hard to not want to dabble and just try, like a 22-250 upper, or try your 6.5 Grendel, or just see what 7.62x39 is all about. Just my personal recommendations, if you're going to do anything that's not 5.56 or 308, go 300 Blackout, because I think that's, in my opinion, it's been the most reliable so far. The majority of the ammunition you're going to get is domestic production. There's a little Barnall 300 Blackout out there. There's some Tula 300 Blackout, maybe some Wolf that's been brought in before too, that you can get into, or just load your own. You can tailor your round to do whatever you want. So I would just recommend that route. It's not cheap, but then again, neither is the 243 upper cheap to shoot, or a 6.5 Creedmoor upper cheap to shoot. And the idea is not, when you get it, you're probably not going to be running drills with this thing, taking it through a tactical course. Maybe you will. I don't know. I don't have that kind of money to burn, but you want it for like a certain application, either for defense or maybe for hunting or whatnot, which is what really makes it good. So Ozart says, I help you build your brands. Sounds good. Where's this comment at? I want to find this one. Chris Winslet says, friend just got the PSA KS47. It's like a hybrid lower with an AR upper. I'm interested to see how it runs. Yeah, the PSA KS47 takes regular AK mags, and I don't believe the upper is compatible with. I don't think it can be. I don't think the upper is compatible with your AR-15 standard lowers. But PSA's got them back in stock for the longest time. They didn't have them, so that would be something I would consider trying, just because they seem to be fairly reliable. So that's always an option. Dwayne K says, I'm just wondering if an extended firing pin in 7.62x39 may slam fire with American ammo primers. Maybe they've upgraded to harder primers in American production now. Dwayne K, no. Well, okay, I can't say it wouldn't slam fire, but I've run the Winchester. God, maybe it's only Winchester. I thought I tried 2 or 3. And Hornady. I've run Hornady 7.62x39. I don't remember what the line was specifically through my 7.62x39 upper with the enhanced firing pin, and had no trouble at all. It's just, it gives you that extra punch that you need when you're firing regular shots when it's being struck with a hammer. So yeah, the slam fire was not an issue. Not that it couldn't go off, but I'm just saying it's never happened with me in my 7.62x39 uppers. So, yep. All right. Okay. Does anybody have anything else to say about deviating from 308 or 5.56? Anything you guys want to say? We'll just do this as a roundtable. American Hillbilly, anything you want to say at all before we go?
Yeah, buddy, I just really enjoy this, man. A lot of great information here, so I've learned stuff on here, the extended fire pin, stuff like that. I mean, so it's great information. And so when I'm going to look for this, at least I have some knowledge, to go forward here when I'm looking for something. But yeah, I've just really enjoyed the show, man. Thanks for having me on here.
Again, we're not liable for any gun purchases you may go make, or or any uppers. I think Tony York sums it up best here. This is my honest opinion. Just go buy a whole gun. Just get the gun complete as is, and then just not worry about it, so you don't have to fiddle around with it. Or maybe you'll get it with the mag that it needs, or maybe it's been tested in that particular platform, so you don't have any issues. So yeah, awesome. So where can we find you, American Hillbilly? What's the name of the channel? He's getting his hillbilly up on here. All right,
I'm gonna throw this on. I don't know if AR 1776 still on here, but he put his hat on for me, I think, last night. So I was going to return the favor.
There you go. You guys have the same hats?
No, his is a lot nicer than mine.
Oh, okay. There you go. There's nothing wrong with that. That's you can walk around here and be just totally comfortable out here in Nebraska. So,
you bet.
All right. Can you give us just a little tease? What's coming up on the channel? Do you have anything planned in the works? Are you gonna expand the avocado toast series, or you got something? You got any reviews coming up, or anything we should be looking for?
Yeah, I mean, that's always an option. Add a little cooking, to the channel. So, but I just did a video with my son-in-law. He was just got out of boot camp. He's home for just a little bit before he headed out to Colorado. So we got to do a video together, and that's really fun. We'll be posting that next week.
Cool.
And then I think we might have something in the works with you, Travis. I know we talked about something here, I think it was last week, about possible another video to go along with the avocado toast. So, hopefully maybe we'll have a collab or a challenge or something there. That's going to be a lot of fun, because you guys come up with a great idea and it sounds like a blast to do. So hopefully we can get that figured out.
All right, man. Hey, man, I'm cool with travel. I've been to Missouri several times. You're just like literally maybe 20 miles away. Or over the border. So yeah, we can tag team and do hillbilly versus redneck. Who will win? Who makes the best avocado toast? And you choose your caliber of choice, and then we can have a panel of taste testers. We'll bring everybody with us. Have food show up. Have Defense Dad tag along. We'll have see if we can get Squib to travel down for this one. He could be our honorary MC.
You guys got the pinky stick out when you pull the trigger, though.
What's that?
You have to have your pinky sticking out while you pull the trigger.
We'll make sure we just use the finest, sustainably harvested organic avocados. Yep. Anyway, yeah, definitely. All right, so guys, make sure you check out Hillbilly Up, American Hillbilly. Great channel, lots of fun content, and love the How to Speak Hillbilly series that you put out there. I mean, I already know what most of those mean, except for the whole bless your heart thing. That was an eye-opening experience for me when I learned the true meaning of it a couple of years ago, because up here we use it in a more kinder, gentler fashion. It doesn't have any kind of, it's just literally, oh, well, bless you, like God bless you is essentially the equivalent up here to bless your heart in Nebraska. But man, once you cross the Kansas line or you get into Missouri, that's a whole different world, man. That's a whole different a whole different territory of speak. So,
Yeah, we have some more of those hillbilly sayings, and learning coming up too. So
okay, so for you, if you, instead of saying like I've got your items, do you say I've got y'all's items, or do you say I got your guys's items? What do you say in Missouri? What do you say in the Hillbilly Nation?
I think both of them used.
You use that. Okay, your guys's.
But it's always y'all come back, or we'll see y'all, later, or so y'all is spoken quite a bit around here, and
okay.
It's really funny because we had a family come through. They were looking for some land and real estate, and they stopped at my grandparents and was up there eating, and we're like, oh yeah, man, just come on and eat with us, so they thought that's kind of strange, just walking into a stranger's house. And then we were fixing to leave, I remember my grandfather said, y'all come back, just as they was walking out the door. The fella turned around to open up the door, and he said, yeah. We're like, just, y'all come back. And he's like, right now?
Right now?
No, man.
That's straight up Yankee behavior is what that is. Wow. God, even I know better than that. I mean, a good friend of mine and his wife is from Texas, and she corrects my Nebraska vocabulary. In their home, I have to say y'all's, I have to say fixin'. So I have to kind of adapt, how I communicate so I can get the words and points across to this woman. So Tony out there says, bless your heart, Travis. Tony's out there from out east. Even out east, Illinois and Michigan, they say bless your heart. So, wow, I didn't know that.
Well, who the hell says items anyway? I got your stuff, man.
Got y'all's items. I got your guys' stuff. Your guys' is one that really so. Anyway, enough of that. So, guys, make sure you check out Hillbilly Up, American Hillbilly, fun channel, lots of great stuff. You want to learn how to make avocado toast? This is the person you need to go check out. So,
all right, it. Great, a lot of great comments out there and everything, and just appreciate everybody.
There you go. All right, and then Squib, any final words of wisdom? Any thoughts on the topic of the deviation away from 308 and 5.56? Anything you want to plug or say before we go?
Some people have strong opinions on stuff in the firearms culture. All right, that's just the way it is.
Yes.
It's you got we're all individuals. There's diversity. There's opinions. Some people are really strong about their opinions, and they think that their opinion is the only opinion, or their opinion is a scientific fact or something, or historical fact, something like that. And they will push it and push it and push it. Now, don't get me wrong. We tease each other. We give each other crap all the time. That's something we do. And you can usually tell by the inflection of somebody's voice or their facial expression. It's a little bit hard to do on one of these live streams, but you can usually tell if you know the other person when they're joking and when they're serious. And some people are dead serious.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, it's just like, forget it. I don't even want to have this conversation. We all have different reasons why we do what we do. Like the 450 upper, that's for hunting. Right. The first time I shot an AR in 450, I was like, this is kind of nice. It's not really that bad. It doesn't kick. It's
good terminal ballistics for whatever you want, Yeah.
But then I was like, I don't know if I'll buy this or not. And then I thought about getting it for the wife because of the recoil. And I'm like, she could have something that's kind of a big caliber and that sort of thing. But then I use it for hunting. And I'm like, no, I want it for myself. Well, somebody out there who doesn't hunt or doesn't have that law in their state, or they hunt, right? But they've got private property and they can shoot for miles and miles. And they would say, why would I? Right. So I get it. For you, it has no point. It's wasted money. For me, it's an investment. We're two different people, but it's when that other person goes, no, son, all you got to have is you got to have that bolt action rifle, and that's all and you don't need that black rifle there, and you don't need that cartridge, and why are you spending your money? Why, dude? It's my money. I bust my butt to earn it. I'll spend it any way I want, and that's the thing. I can tell you that 1911 and 9mm. Why, right? But they've been around for a long time. People buy them, whatever. AR instead of 6.2x39. Why? Just go get an AK, right? But those are my opinions, right? And usually that stuff only comes out when we're having a discussion or somebody goes, "What do you think, man? Should I get my first AR in something other than 5.5?" In my opinion, no, right? But that's my opinion. So who cares? Do what you want.
Yeah.
As long as you're not asking me to pay for it, I don't care. So sometimes these discussions can be kind of interesting, but other times it can just turn into a flat out argument for no reason at all. And that's where I just would rather just walk away. Not because I'm afraid I can't win the argument or anything. It's just like, why am I wasting my time on this?
Yeah. Yeah, again, to each his own. You try. Again, this was just a discussion on the pros and cons and ins and outs. I think it would be hard for me to have a discussion and not mention what didn't work in my experiences on it, instead of just saying, "Oh, it's the bee's knees, or it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Go get this up, or you won't be disappointed." And then, a week later, somebody's like, "Well, I got it, and it won't run. What am I doing wrong?" Then I got to take the time to explain. Well, there's the hammer spring, there's the firing pin, there's the mag issues, there's So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to really get out there and just look at the pros and cons, because I've had these experiences. It's been my money out of pocket, that I've had to spend to get these things to run. So,
did you notice that the bots came into the channel when Squib started talking? Did you invite him, Squib?
I've gone through. We've got. Are there no mods in here? I thought we had mods in here. Where'd all my mods go? Yeah, Newer Cowcast and Kingpin is a mod. I've gone through and deleted those comments that I just don't want up there. Again, I try to keep everything family friendly and stuff, because there could be, little kids watching this with their parents and stuff. So no, but we should be okay. No, that the bots is something that usually happens after the video post, and then it shows up in the comments. I don't usually get them happening in the chat, but I think it just discovers it and nails you with it. So yeah, but no, Squib, you got a very valid point. Every to each his own. You do what you want to do, but here we're just all about having the discussion. So.
I don't mind when the discussions get where we're kind of giving each other crap or that sort of thing. It's just when you got that person that's going, "Well, why are you spending your money like that? I didn't ask you to pay for it, so why do you care?" Mm-hmm. Yeah, so sometimes that's what happens with these things is we can share a lot of information, our experience. We can say, "Hey, I had this," and like the people go, "Anderson is crap," and I've never had a problem with an Anderson yet. And that sort of thing. So we're going to butt heads, right? So it's an occupational hazard.
Yeah. All right. Kingpin, anything you want to say before we go?
Yeah, I was inspired by this conversation, so I'm going to build a 22 LR conversion kit for 1911s.
Ooh, well, they're already out there, though. If you want them, you can already get them.
Well, they're not going to be the ones I'm going to invent.
Oh, okay. All right. There you go.
And as far as everybody's concerned, they don't exist yet. I'm going to be the one that invents them.
It's going to be more good than everything else out there.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you, Dwayne. And anytime you see one of those bots out there, even though it doesn't make any difference, you still got to at least put the report in as well. Report them for, spamming or pornography or whatever.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any difference, but at least it's on the record.
Yeah. Good old.
Then one other thing, thank you for the show and everybody who does these videos and does these podcasts. I know a lot of times we get to talking about food and coffee and, goofing off and stuff. And a lot of people think it's just, dudes hanging out with each other. But then you can look at the chat and ask anybody how much stuff you learn from people like Travis and everybody else who does these videos and does these live streams. So appreciate everybody that does it and understand that it's a whole bunch of fun, but there's tons of people out there that learn stuff from this kind of stuff too.
Yeah, I had a pretty negative Facebook comment that somebody posted on our AR discussion, cheap versus expensive, and the guy was critical of every point that we basically made. And he goes, "Yeah, and they didn't even stay on topic, and they started talking about blah blah blah." And I'm like, you must not follow the channel much. You must not have seen my podcast before to know that sometimes we'll get into a discussion about our favorite cheese or our favorite coffee, or man, why don't they bring, when we go down what we call the food rabbit hole. And I guess if you don't have those human experiences with other people, then you don't know. And for that, I'm sorry. But, that just happens on these podcasts. I mean, sometimes it's fun just to kind of take a moment and just have a fun discussion because we're all friends. It's good to have these chats and stuff. So, if you don't understand,
if he had a channel, did you check to see if he made videos on that? Did you check to see if he had
this was on Facebook? Yeah, it was a Facebook comment. I didn't even bother.
You're missing the point. Travis, you should take responsibility for that, and you should contact every single human being on the planet before you do your next podcast to find out exactly what they want you to talk about.
I'm going to have like a trigger warning before we start, have a disclaimer come up on the screen that says, warning, we may not talk about today's topic every second of the chat, because just be forewarned.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you don't like it, go do something else. Come back. We'll probably be back to the chat later on. So, yeah. Dwayne K says, I like to learn. I'm 55 and I'm still learning. See, there you go. I mean, there is some validity behind what we do here. We try. So, and again, it's just my personality. I can talk about anything. If you check my channel, I review everything. So not as much as Squid, but I'm catching up to him. So, all right. So Kingpin, good having you here. And again, I appreciate, you know, the critical discourse and the ability to kind of, you know, not always see eye to eye on everything, but then also learn from each other. I think that's important. So it's good having you here, man. Appreciate it.
Thank
All
you.
right. Single shot. Anything to say before we go?
Well, you know, lively discussion. That's what we usually have here. And everybody has a lot of tidbits of this, that, and the other for good info for what we're talking about. Or, like you say, some of the stuff that we don't talk about constantly. So, you know, it's to each his own. You know, if you have any doubts or any questions, go to a gun range, run one of the firearms that are chambered differently, and try them out if they have them. You know, I've loaded a lot of this stuff myself, and I've done well with it so far. So, you know, it's just like I say, it's to each his own. Check out the channels. I am on Instagram and on Rumble as Daywolf. Scarred Warrior 1956 on Instagram. And I do still have the, so far, the channel here on YouTube. That's Single Shot. So, everybody take care. God bless. America moves by truck.
And if you don't believe so, just check your shelves. I'm always going to finish up with that. Before we get to the poll here, we'll let Defense Dad go and give us his final plug here. Defense Dad, anything to say before we go?
Good discussion. When it comes down to it, buy what the hell makes you happy. Be damned what people say about it. We've all been in the range where you get that old, like what Squid was saying, old guys at the range, like, why do you want those black rifles just to waste the money? They're not accurate. Well, you shoot what you will shoot, and I'll shoot what I shoot, and we'll just have fun.
There you go.
That's about it.
Yeah. All right, man. Cool. And let's give a little shout out on the YouTube side to everybody that was watching here. Well, okay, real quick on the poll. The poll says 56% of you have an AR platform rifle or upper not chambered in 223, 5.56, or 3.0 Winchester 7.62 by 51. So that could include 22 long rifle. That could include, you know, other calibers and stuff like that. So the majority of you actually do, but then a strong 44% of you don't. So that's understandable. And maybe today you'll think about checking them out, and you know, you can join the masses. So yeah. Let's see. Dwayne K says, if you guys like knives, I invite you to Bees Blades. We have a live show every Friday at 8:15 Eastern time. Let me translate that for you. 7:15 Central time. And we'll be glad to have any of you over at the show. So make sure you guys check out Dwayne K's channel. Get out there and check it out. So joining us today on the YouTube side, we've got Dwayne K. We've got MN. Mike B. Is that Minnesota Mike B, maybe? I'm out there. Tony York's out there today. Hillbilly Up. Early Watch Chat was out there today, too. X Adam 1 joining in the discussion. Hillbilly Up out there also. Fluffy 10mm Jeep Guy, G23, Krabby Turtle, New Watch Podcast joining in. New York Outcast out there also. Tacos and French Fries, Oz Art, X Adam 1, Chris from the 740. Good discussion today. A lot of you out there chatting, kind of sharing your experiences and what's going on. William Trader out there also watching today. M. Gabriel was joining in. So M. Gabriel, just so you know, I did address your comment about the SEBI C308. I still have it. What I actually did was I sent the trigger pack to Night Strike so he could have it, because I have a different trigger pack in mind now. So that's what I was talking about not having with my C308. I still have my C308 and it's fine. I do need to take it back out to the range and do some shooting with it. YNH out there watching too. Patrick Pew Pew. Tim Harper joining in also. I think that's pretty much about it. So Kingpin, yeah. All right, guys. So it's been episode number 244 There was a person that made a comment out there. I think it was YNH. She says, well, you guys didn't even discuss the AR9. I feel like the AR9 and PCCs are kind of their own discussion. Not that we couldn't have just mentioned AR9, but I was kind of focusing on like centerfire rifle calibers, basically. And so that was kind of what the idea was for today. So I think we'll talk AR9s next week. We'll talk PCCs versus AR9s. Advantages, disadvantages, why go with one, why not? So that could be its own discussion. I want to make sure we have adequate time for it. And unfortunately, I got to go. But you guys have yourselves a wonderful weekend. Sam of Anarchy 92, you too. Thanks for watching. Guys, make sure you like and subscribe. Travis P11. I'll have a new video dropping on Wednesday. Check out my channel. Make sure you are subscribed in case you happen to have gotten unsubbed. Go through the list, the playlist, and you can find all kinds of great content. And subscribe to everybody here on the channel too, because they all do a great job and they've got wonderful content. So make sure you support them. So I think that's it. Guys, have fun. Be safe. And as you know, we will talk to you soon. Y'all take care and have a good one. Bye-bye.